Hello, dear all. How are you all, and how are you doing? And I'm Mr. Vikram Kharade, and in this new video, here I am with the two stories of success. One is of Nelson Mandela, the first president of South Africa, and the second person is Maria Sharapova. The video will be very short, but this short video will make your life big, because every person wants inspiration, every person wants motivation. And what is motivation, what is inspiration and motivation? It is nothing, it is just a surrounded thing. If we look here and there, we will get inspiration, we get motivation. The reason is, you are surrounded by motivation, you are surrounded by inspiration. The people surrounded by you, these can teach you a lot of things. And here in this video, I will be telling you the story of Nelson Mandela, I will be telling you story of Maria Sharapova. These two legendary people, even their fields are different. Nelson Mandela was a politician, and Maria Sharapova was a sportswoman. Maria Sharapova. Okay, so here first I will talk about Nelson Mandela. I am not talking the first person about Nelson Mandela. Many people are there, everyone knows who was Nelson Mandela, but his story inspires me. It will inspire you also, because Nelson Mandela became the first black president of South Africa. South Africa was under white people. Apartheid was the system where racial segregation was the big problem in South Africa. Racial separation was the big issue in South Africa. Black people were treated very badly, like animals, and they were under the rule of white people. They had no rights. They had no rights to live their own lives. And so Nelson Mandela, who was born freely, he had a freedom to run through his fields, he has a freedom to swim in the rivers, he had a freedom to go with the friends, he had a freedom to eat whatever he wanted. But that freedom, once he said in his autobiography, and his book name is Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela says that his freedom was illusion. It was not a real freedom. Yes, because as he was a child, he thought freedom was just to play with the friends. Freedom was to go with the parents. Freedom was to swim in the river. Freedom was to eat whatever he wanted. But when he grew up, he understood that freedom was illusion. Actually, his freedom had been taken by white people. When he wanted to be educated, when he wanted to earn some money to run his family, his personal life, then he understood that his freedom was illusion. It was not real freedom. And then he started to fight against this apartheid system. He was not alone. He was not only person who stood against it. Many people were there, but he was the most prominent persons in history of South Africa, where he stood against apartheid system, he stood against racial discrimination system, and then he started his journey as a freedom fighter of South Africa. But do you know, one thing inspired me a lot, that South African people, this Nelson Mandela, a black person, he spent his 30 years in jail, in prison. 30 years, dear all, 30 years of span, 30 years of period is not a joke to spend in jail, to spend in prison. But this man spent his 30 years of period in jail, in prison, with lot of humiliation, with lot of pain, with lot of struggle. But he never forgot his target. He never forgot for what he had taken birth. 30 years he spent in his jail, but he always kept on telling himself that one day I will be relieved from this jail, and again I will stand against racial discrimination, apartheid system. And after getting released, after getting out, then he again stood against the racial segregation, and then he got wonderful thing. Then he got the success, and the success was South African people, black people, they got freedom. And the day was 10th May 1994, where the inauguration ceremony was there. And on that day, Nelson Mandela took oath as the first black president of South Africa. And he remembered the military, the policemen, and all the generals of all the forces. They saluted him, and he remembered that these people only had arrested him. These people only had tortured him. And that day he understood that the freedom is something different. And these people were saluting him on the inauguration day. 140 countries had participated in that oath-taking ceremony. From India, Sonia Gandhi also had participated for that inauguration, for that oath-taking ceremony on 10th May 1994. And there he took oath, and he said that South Africa will never again experience this kind of apartheid system. And he said that deprivation, struggling, suffering, gender discrimination, other discrimination, poverty will completely disappear from South Africa. And he was the first person who kept on telling people that we have to fight for our rights, we have to fight for our freedom. His life was wonderful. His life was true inspiration for all people, where he struggled a lot, and he was pained on that day that many people had lost their lives in this freedom, and he was unable to say thank. He was unable to pay his gratitude towards them. But in his speech, he said, thank you for all those who were the part of this journey, those who were their part of this freedom struggle. And finally, South Africa became the democratic country. And 10th May 1999 onwards, South Africa became independent country. In this video, what I wanted to tell you, that pain, sufferings, struggle, these are the real words. This is the real life. Because I always believe pain creates characters. Pain creates legends. Pain creates freedom fighters. Pain creates successful people. And if there is no pain, if there is no struggle, if there is no struggling in your life, then we will be living our lives as normal people. We will be living our lives as ordinary people. We can never be extraordinary people. If you want to be extraordinary people, or if you want to be extraordinary person, then there should be pain, there should be struggle, there should be sufferings in our lives. This is what I wanted to tell you in this video. How is the video? Comment and like. In the next video, I will be telling the story of Maria Sharapova, how her life also inspires all the people, how her life inspires me. For this time, this is enough. Thank you.